Rumor alert. Rumor alert. There's a rumor. There's a vicious rumor circulating in the online boxing community over the last few days that Tyson Fury's next opponent will be none other than worst ever drum roll you've heard in your life. It will be against Francis Ngannou. Let's talk about it before we do. My name's Rahul J. Chan, this is the Battle Camp. Thank you very much for joining me. If you're new to the channel, please do consider subscribing. And when I say consider, just hit the fucking button. Please subscribe to my channel. Anyway, look. So Tyson Fury made this announcement on his Instagram probably. I can't even remember when it was, to be honest, because everything he says now just goes into that junk mail box in my brain. But he said a massive announcement is coming, right? And then we had the Joe Joyce v Zhang press conference where Frank Warren said Tyson Fury's next opponent has been confirmed. They'll announce it next week, and it's a game changer. It's a game changer. And just as he started talking about it being a game changer, I thought, you know what? It's with him saying it's a game changer, it's very likely to be Francis Ngannou, because who else that is an actual boxer would change the game per se, right? And then yesterday, Eddie Hearn, in many interviews, said that he's heard that Tyson Fury will be fighting Francis Ngannou next in an exhibition fight. So obviously, it's the merging of two different sports, two different worlds, boxing and MMA. And I've got two perspectives on this fight, right? So from a boxing point of view, it's a fight that actually, you know what? Let me start here, because I've made probably multiple videos basically saying Francis Ngannou, thinking that he's going to get the Tyson Fury fight, he's in for a rude awakening. Because for the last year and a half, 2 years or so, I've been saying you cannot take Tyson Fury's word for anything, right? You can't believe anything the man says, because he changes his mind just like that, right? And there was a lot of kind of hype in the MMA community when Francis Ngannou jumped in the ring after the Tyson Fury Dillian Whyte fight, thinking, oh, it's happening, it's actually happening. Francis Ngannou's a free agent. And at that time, I was like, well, nah, this fight isn't going to happen. It's not going to happen. So I'm gonna touch on that a bit later on in the video, because I just want to make sure that I reference the fact that I'm wrong on this occasion. But going back to looking at this from a boxing perspective, it's a fight that if you're a boxing fan, if you're a hardcore boxing fan and you've got no interest in MMA, it's a fight that you think, what is the point? What is the actual point in Tyson Fury fighting Francis Ngannou? You've been talking all this crap about all of the heavyweights and all of the heavyweights that mean something in the division for all this time, and then you go and fight Francis Ngannou, right? And I understand and I appreciate that, because there are fights to be made in the heavyweight division. It's not like Tyson Fury's beating everyone, and it's not like he's doing the second lap again and he's having to face people that he's already beaten. Do you know what I mean? Having said that, from a Frank Warren and Tyson Fury's point of view, the narrative that they're going to spin, you can already sense it, because Frank Warren, over the last couple of months, he's not being a boxing promoter. The poor guy's being a spin doctor, trying to justify why Tyson Fury hasn't been in a meaningful fight for over a year, right? Putting the blame on all of the other prospective opponents rather than looking at Tyson Fury and his demands and his requirements. He needs the perfect kind of scenario for him to get into the ring, right? There's no give, there's no compromise when it comes to Tyson Fury. And Frank Warren, with the help of Umar has been on this trail of trying to justify Tyson Fury's actions. But you know the narrative that they're going to spin is, well, nobody wanted to fight. None of the boxers wanted to fight. So we had to look elsewhere. And we're going to see who the baddest man on the planet really is. This is the guy that actually won the challenge. This is the guy that actually wanted to fight. And this is what they're going to say. And if you're an actual hardcore boxing fan that keeps up to date with all of these negotiations and these back and forth between promoters and fighters, etc., you're going to look at that and say, what a load of bollocks. And not give a flying Frenchman's F about this fight. And I appreciate it and I understand it. And if I was just a boxing fan and I didn't follow MMA, then I'd be right there with you. I'd be like, oh, this is just another example of Tyson Fury doing Tyson Fury things. And I'm sick and tired of it, effectively, right? With my MMA hat on, being I'm more of an MMA fan than I am a boxing fan. This wall behind me kind of shows that, right? I'm glad that Francis Ngannou is actually getting this opportunity, if obviously it comes to fruition. With all the history that's happened between him, Dana White, the UFC, etc., with the fact that Dana White was trying his best to promote a fight between Tyson Fury and John Jones, and a large part of me believes the only reason he was showing interest in that is to piss on Francis Ngannou's parade, because he knows one of the main drivers for Francis Ngannou leaving the organization is to pursue a big boxing fight. The fact that Francis Ngannou looks to have secured this opportunity, be it an exhibition, and you've got to take what Eddie Hearn's saying, calling it an exhibition with a pinch of salt, although with like these sanctioning bodies, it'd be hard to sanction a fight between a 0-0 boxer against the heavyweight champion of the world who's never lost a fight, right? So it probably is going to be an exhibition fight. But having said that, what will the rules be? Will it be a fight where it's effectively a glorified sparring match, or will they actually have a fight with 3-minute rounds, and whether it's 10 rounds or 12 rounds, however long it is, an actual boxing match with boxing rules? Will it be some sort of weird hybrid? I doubt it. I doubt it will be a hybrid. I think it will. I think Francis Ngannou wants an actual boxing match with boxing rules. He doesn't want to manipulate the size of the gloves. He doesn't want to allow for kicks and elbows or kind of extensive periods of holding and grappling, etc., kind of like bare knuckle boxing. I think he just wants to have a boxing match with boxing rules. And if this is what the case is going to be, then fair play to him, because it kind of justifies exactly why he left the UFC. Because when he did leave the UFC, a lot of people were talking about, oh, he's fumbled the bag, so if he does manage to secure this opportunity, then fair play to him. Now, I, like many others out there, don't believe he stands a chance in a boxing ring against Tyson Fury, but just the fact that he's managed to get himself in this position is kind of like a moral victory for him, given what's happened between himself and the relationship between himself and the UFC, and the fact that he's left the organization just for this chance, right? All he wanted is a chance, and he seems to have got it, so fair play to him. Going back to what I said at the start of the video, when I was adamant that Francis Ngannou isn't going to fight Tyson Fury, and he needs to be careful. He needs to be careful about kind of being so focused on boxing against Tyson Fury that he kind of loses in the long run by not renewing with the UFC. I still stand by the comments that I made. At the time, I was thinking that there is so much money to be made in Saudi Arabia, or against a Joshua in an actual boxing match for Tyson Fury. There is no way in the world that Tyson Fury would turn that down for a fight against Francis Ngannou, for a freak show fight against Francis Ngannou that probably wouldn't generate the kind of revenue that an actual boxing match against an actual real boxer for an actual real boxing title would generate, right? Because as much as Tyson Fury likes to pretend that he doesn't care about money, he's the one boxer that puts the most onus on the bag, as they say. Do you know what I mean? So I just didn't really think that Tyson Fury would conduct himself in the way that he has over the last year. I thought he would be seduced by the money on available in Saudi Arabia and fight Usyk. Clearly, there's something else at play here. He clearly doesn't want that with Usyk for whatever reason, and he's kind of painted himself into a corner, constantly going on social media talking about how nobody wants to fight him, constantly kind of pricing himself out in these negotiations. There's so many things that he's done over the last year. The list is longer than the length of my arm. Do you know what I mean? But having said that, it's worked in Francis Ngannou's favour. He's managed to somehow get himself in this position just because Tyson Fury has alienated himself. He's cornered himself, because he's now in a position where if he fights an actual boxer that is top 10, nobody's going to give a flying F. No one's going to care, right? So if Frank Warren tries to promote a fight between Tyson Fury and a, boxer, it'll be like, well, no, we don't want him to fight this guy. We want Tyson Fury to fight Usyk. That's the fight that we want, right? So this Francis Ngannou fight allows them to it's kind of like a get out of jail free card, a backdoor exit. It's a bit like, oh, well, we're just trying to do something fun while these guys manage to get the guts to fight our man Tyson Fury because they clearly don't want to fight him at the moment. That sort of narrative. Not that I believe it. I'm just telling you, it gives them a strong kind of narrative to effectively run with from their perspective. And then Umar, oh, Frank, so let's just go down the list. AJ didn't want it. Usyk didn't want it. Then you would start naming all the names that could have potentially fought Tyson Fury, but they didn't want the fight. So this is why Tyson Fury and Francis Ngannou fight got made. Aside from all of that, some of the things that I'm interested to know is obviously the rule set of the actual fight. I'm interested to know where the fight's going to be because they're talking about September, October. I think Frank Warren said in his interview with Ara Helwani. So that would be difficult for, I was going to say that would be difficult for an outdoor UK stadium, but they did December, didn't they? They did December in a stadium. So where there's a will, there's a way, I suppose. But I'd be interested to see, is it going to be I don't think it would be a Saudi Arabia fight. I think it will be in the UK. But personally speaking, it's something that I'll definitely watch just because I'm interested to see what Francis Ngannou looks like against an actual boxer. And he's not in there with any boxer. He's in there with one of the best boxers of this generation, arguably the best boxer in the heavyweight division of this generation. So there's a lot of intrigue, and to be honest, like I said at the kind of start or the middle of the video, I'm glad Francis Ngannou's got this because it kind of proves a lot of naysayers wrong. Anyway, these are my thoughts about a fight that is rumoured to be made, and it's quite funny because next week we might find out that Tyson Fury is fighting Derek Chisora for a fourth time, and that wouldn't surprise me either. But yeah, let me know what you guys think about the points that I've raised in this video. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Share this with a friend if you've enjoyed it, and I'll catch you guys next time.